Hey, y'all, it's Trent on the Loose. And it's now been a full year that I've been a part of hosting and moderating and speaking at meetings, standing up for property rights, in particular, fighting the CO2 pipeline issue, fighting the fact that you sign an easement. And when you sign that easement, you've just given control to the world of what you do on your property. So let's for a moment just forget about property rights. Let's talk about the inherent dangers of the CO2 pipeline. I am really, really tired of traveling the greater Midwest and from Colorado to Indiana, and people telling me that pipeline transportation is the safest that there has been. That has been the case, but CO2 is a completely different animal, and do not allow anybody representing a pipeline company to tell you anything different. As we speak, another rupture has occurred with a CO2 pipeline in Louisiana. We see vehicles are all gelled up. We see people. By the way, I'm going to get to Dan Harvey in a minute, and he is going to walk through this in a way that I can't even do. He is the chief of the fire department, volunteer fire department of Gruver, Iowa. But I just want to ask you a question. Do you know what the latest technology in putting to sleep euthanizing pigs, chickens, and turkeys in processing plants around this country? A CO2 chamber. It asphyxiates the animals and literally just puts them to sleep. So what makes you and I think that there's anything safe about a molecule that's 1.5 times heavier than oxygen? Let's think about that. I do have to say kudos to Alan Bush and all of the individuals in Hancock and Kossuth County and the wide area where people came to this meeting on a Friday night in Wesley, Iowa, a community of 385 people. We had 250 show up at this meeting. In 1 year of being a part of these meetings, the demographics are widening and people are beginning to understand that this is a danger to the liberty of our nation. This is crony capitalism. This is the elite wealthy within the states even who are controlling the political system to get their way. No more. You are put on notice if you're part of that system. Your days are numbered. You've been exposed. Thanks to the effort of community leaders. Alan Bush, thank you so much. Dan Harvey is going to join us. And then, believe it or not, I'm partnering up with the Iowa chapter of the Sierra Club, a sentence I never thought would come out of my mouth, but it is. Jess Mazur standing by. So we got Dan Harvey, Jess Mazur, today, Trent on the Loose.
At OLS Tubs, we focus on quality ingredients to create premium, low-consumption supplements that save producers time and money. Our customers see increased profits through better conception rates, heavier winning weights, and less time and money spent on doctoring herds. OLS formulas focus on highly bioavailable trace minerals and vitamins, as well as key ingredients to improve immune response, colostrum quality, and feed conversion. Our exclusive formula propels your livestock to their full genetic potential. This is why we confidently say OLS Tubs are simply the best.
Folks, when it comes to crop protection, you need equipment and technology you can count on. The Apache sprayer accomplishes all of that, but you need something else. A service counter and a group of people that'll help you when you need it. Simpson Farm Enterprises at simpsonfarm.com and High Plains Apache from Mandan. They have the service, they have the equipment. All they need is your confidence. Online, simpsonfarm.com or highplainsapache.com.
Are you looking for something special or one of a kind? At Bassett Motors, we can help you find exactly what you want.
Come on in and experience how small town hospitality and personal service can make car buying a pleasure.
We know interest rates are important to you. We have multiple lenders to negotiate your lowest payment.
Visit us on Highway 281 in Carrington, North Dakota, and online at BassettMotors.com. Bassett Motors, where our customers send their friends.
In the heart of North Dakota lies a beautiful community to live, work, and play. Beulah is surrounded by nature and just minutes from Lake Sakakawea and all that it offers. The possibilities for fun and relaxation here are boundless. It's the perfect place to find a fulfilling career, epic adventures, and a welcoming community. Life here is legendary. Plan your visit today and see what you're missing.
Trent Loos here for my friend Greg Hager. Do you know why he has been named the Entertainer of the Year? It's because he writes his own stuff. It's because what he writes and performs and entertains will touch you in a way like very few songwriters can touch you. His country, his Christian roots come to life. Visit greghager.com for tour dates, merchandise, and book the show yourself. Use the code GREG24 for a discount. greghager.com. Welcome back, Trent on the Loose. We're going to come back to Wesley, Iowa on Friday night, April the 5th. Dan Harvey, who I've seen now speak for a year on this particular danger, the hazards of CO2 pipelines, but he's getting it figured out, and it's not good.
Well, good evening. I'm Dan Harvey. I'm the Gruber Fire Chief in Emmett County. I've been that chief since 1991. We're a small department. We're 16 people of a 12 by 11 district. Our average is 12 fires a year, which is mostly somebody burns a brush pile, starts a grove on fire or another building, tractors, etc. So when this thing started 3 years ago, when we heard about it, one of our fire guys is also a number guru, and he started looking at this carbon dioxide and he's like, holy crap, what's going on here? What are they putting through here? So we had our county fair in July, and that's when I submitted a plume study for our fair. We had an 8-inch line going through Emmett County from the Navigator. As of today, now that's gone so far. To give you what was going to show you on the screen, and some of you may have not seen that plume, but no one's gave the numbers for it. So I'm just going to give you, if you can find it, which is hard to find now. But they used a test facility, and the reservoir they used is 380 feet long, 52-inch diameter. That's what the liquid CO2 was in, compressed. It connected to a 744-foot pipeline loop on an 8-inch pipe. They released that. The visible plume was 197 feet tall, and it blanketed out as far as 1,312 feet. So 744 feet long. Remember that, 744 feet long. How many feet are in them? 20 miles. Hell of a lot. So I'm not up here trying to tell you that your fire departments, your county supervisors should be paying attention. That's up to your county. I just did with my fire department. I wanted to let my constituents know that this is not just a regular pipeline going through your county or my county. I have the biggest fire district in Emmett County. There was 16 miles going through it. So when we started this venture, and thank you to Richard McCain and his family, our county supervisors, which 3 of them are farmers, and fellow neighbors around it, we had 6%, that's all that signed. That's huge. So the other thing, I just want to let you know that the more homework you do on these things, the more that you can stay together and make sense of it. I've been to a summit meeting now, so this is where it's going to get a little, I've been to one with Emmett County because there's still 5 miles going through northwest Emmett County for summit. They're going to use what they call the canary modeling. Nobody uses that anymore. It's absolutely obsolete almost. Canary. What do you think canaries were used for? Exactly. So when we met with Summit, the Navigator released their plume modeling in South Dakota. All through South Dakota, it was 8-inch line. Their hazardous feet were 1855. Summit, and they'll tell you this, they're good after 300 feet. So I'm sitting there going, and I asked him, I said, why is Navigator telling us 1855 in South Dakota, that's a health risk? And you're just telling me right here that's 350 feet and it's fine after that. Well, their modeling's wrong. Okay. I'm gonna, and just like you saw, if you haven't heard about the Louisiana, and I'm sure somebody else is gonna talk about that broke yesterday. That was, you will be told by us volunteers that if this goes through, you are to shelter in place if this thing breaks. They flat out told us that. So I'm a firefighter. I don't get any money to go fight. I'm owed 1,500 feet and I can't go into your house because I can't even get there. And I'm going to watch somebody probably die. They don't give a shit about what the hell they're going to do to you. I'm going to flat out tell you that right now. Sorry about my language. The more you guys can come together, I give kudos to Richard McCain and his girls. We had meetings after meetings after meetings. That's huge. The more you guys can do this, every 2 to 3 months, especially after June, the more you guys can do that to say, hey, this is what's happening. This is what they're doing. Hey, this person did this. The more you guys can do that and stay as a group, the better off you're going to be. Because just like the easements, I asked them, why are they not going back to do just the easements? So you got 75 feet on each side. I said, why aren't you going to, it's 2024. I can do that on Google Earth right now. I can make GPS points going through my ground. And you guys can't do that? We're not going to. Because they need emergency access at all times to your property. They will not, and they are not ever going to sign just that 75 feet. They're going to sign your whole property in, and it'll stay there forever. So just be aware of that. So 8-inch line. So here's some numbers that we ran. This is one of my fellow firefighters. 8-inch line, immediate death was 1,320 feet radius. You're done. You only have a few seconds to get the heck out of there. Engine stalls at 1,866. Remember what Navigator, what I told you it was? 1855. This is just this guy that did this is a 2-year degree. He figured it out. He did his homework. So a 20-inch line, and immediate depth is 3,300 feet radius. Engine stalls just shy of a mile. You can't even get in it. You can't. No engine is going to go in there. Human decline is 2.5 miles. These are low numbers too. My guess is they're probably 20% off. The bigger the number, the more it expands. Let's see, what else did I go on there? Your easements, like on Navigator, ours was at 8-inch. South Dakota was all 8-inch. And right now, if they go back and Summit goes and get those easements, they're only for the 8-inch. They cannot go any bigger than 8-inch off those Navigator ones. So if anybody is in here that had a contract with Navigator, stick to it that you only have a 8 or 12 or whatever heck they signed on you before. Because they can't go, Summit's was up to 20, 24, up to 24. So now, if anybody hears in June that all of a sudden it's 30, you better be raising your hand, because their permit is not up to, it's only up to 24. So they just disregarded that too. Let's see, there's one more thing I was going to tell you before I get it. Easements, I'm going to go back one more time because I'm a farmer also. There is no reason, 0 reason to sign any easements. 0. Because they have yet to have an IUB permit. And if they get it, let them come grovel. You should be in control, not them. So why sign it and let them win? So the more you hold off and stay together, the better off you guys are going to be. So. Right. Yeah, she was wondering when the IUB decision was going to happen. I think, was it Charlie was saying a little bit on the text today that some rumblings were happening. They wanted approved before Bill 2664 gets approved. Oh yeah. So politics at its best again. So. Yeah, this you guys, I've been around this stuff for 3 years, and I've had actually hazmat tell me that's not that big a deal. That they get 400 feet, and I argued with them that day when we were with Summit. I was like, I'm looking at South Dakota is 1855. So you're telling me their plume modeling is wrong with 15 other ones that I can show you that has 1,800 feet on an 8-inch line? And he goes, well, that's what I'm going by. So to me, I'm not telling you, I'm just on my constituents, I'm letting them know that if there was a pipeline going through there, this is what's going to happen, or could happen, and will happen. And unbelievable if they could put them by a school, a hospital. It's just mind-boggling what's going to happen, because you only have a few seconds. Mine was 1,000 feet from my house. The neighbor was 450. So I asked another question on Summit. It's like, okay, so you put these things through and they're 400 feet and you have a 12-inch line. So what are you going to do? Oxygen sensor to stick out the door and I can go outside now or what? Or oops, too soon, boom. Well, we'll see. We have grants for that maybe, and we'll go case by case. So that's another thing they'll tell you. So it's just, do not trust one damn thing out of their mouth. So that's all I'm going to say.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. Why would you allow anybody to put this particular pipeline on your property? Why? Trent on the Loose. We're back with Jessica Mazur after this.
A North Dakota woman and her 4 kids killed by Mexican drug cartels.
Cartels see North Dakota as an emerging market.
When Mexican cartels murder North Dakotans, when the fentanyl they traffic is a death sentence, it's a North Dakota problem. I'm Tammy Miller. Joe Biden won't do his job, I will. If you're here in North Dakota, working for the cartel, let this serve as notice. When I'm governor, we will find you and bring you to justice.
Conservative Tammy Miller.
People get sick for 2 reasons and 2 reasons only. Your body's missing something that it needs, or it's exposed to something that it doesn't need. So if you supplement what the body's missing, the body fixes itself. If you remove from the body toxins that are interfering with the body's doing what it's normally designed to do, then the body heals itself. It's really that simple.
NO2U, that's nitric oxide, NO, number 2, letter U.com, and you put Trent as coupon code, you don't pay any shipping.
Stop out to our facility, Highway 22 South. Let us build a truck for you.
Base Fluke Trailers of Dickinson is a family-owned dealer with expert staff that know their products front to back. We stock over 150 units of all types and can custom order a trailer with the unique features and capabilities you require for brands you can trust. Our experienced service team is the reason we're also the best place to have your trailer customized or repaired. Count on Base Fluke Trailers of Dickinson to keep you hauling.
Hello and welcome to the MHA Interpretive Center. It's the perfect stop along the Lewis and Clark Trail and the cultural hub of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation. Nestled along the shores of Lake Sagaguia in Newtown, North Dakota, 1 mile west of the Four Bears Casino. You can enjoy amphitheater performances, art exhibitions, and educational workshops utilizing our living cultural center. Enjoy some coffee, browse our gift shop, and learn about the original people of this land. Learn more at mhanation.com/interpretive center.
Welcome back, Trent on the Loose. Now, I want to say that Jessica Mazur gave a tremendous presentation for her entire entity, but I wanted to capture the what do you do? Know your rights. That continues to be the biggest challenge we have as American citizens. We don't ultimately know our rights. Jess, the last part of your program was absolutely fantastic. Tell us what we need to know.
So, talking about what your rights are. And this has been said a few times, and it's the most important one to know what your rights are, is you do not have to sign an easement. No matter what they say, if they say your neighbors have signed, or this is the highest offer you're going to get, or come on, you better sign now or else, anything, whatever they try to say, you don't have to sign. We're 3 years in on the first docket. People who signed in the first month because they were nervous had so much time to wait and see what would happen. We don't need to be rushing to anything. You're looking at potentially a years-long process. a multiple years long process, and then likely appeals in the courts. So don't rush to sign anything. Second is the minute that informational meeting is held in your county, that is when Summit's employees can start contacting you. And there's going to be two different kinds of employees, the land agents and the surveyors. I'm going to talk about land agents first. Land agents are the ones that are going to try to get you to sign an easement. They'll come with a contract. They're going to invite you out to lunch maybe. Sometimes we caught them bringing donuts into retirement facilities. They prey on widows and elderly people who might be more vulnerable to signing first. But keep an eye out, they're slick. And they're going to say things like, sign now, your neighbors have signed, or whatnot. You do not have to talk to them. You do not have to let them on your property. They have no right to be there. You can say, get off my property, I'm not talking to you. The land agents only want you to sign. You do not have to talk to them. The surveyors, though, they're out there because they want to take a look at your land. They want to know the contour of the land. They're looking for, native artifacts or a pond or where the tile lines are, where the fences may be. That's what they're looking for. And you can try to stop a survey, but sometimes they try to be sneaky. They'll go when you're at church. They'll go in the middle of the night. And there's some specific laws around what you can and can't do for a surveyor. So I'm going to go over those specific rights. So you can, in Iowa law, it says that, and this is really small, so I know you can't read it. Proper notification is 10 days written notice via restricted certified mail. And that's the key word, restricted certified mail. It's a special kind of mail that only you or a registered agent can sign for. And if you don't sign for it, you've never been notified. So you have a right to refuse that piece of mail. However, Summit's trying to claim, well, if you refused it, you knew it was coming, you technically were notified. So you could also just not answer the door. When a mailman comes and you think, oh, they have something that they want me to sign, you could just not answer the door and say you're not home. You can also request that the pipeline company get an injunction from a judge. You can say, I don't think Iowa's law is constitutional, which we don't think, and we're actually we're in the middle of a lawsuit challenging Iowa's survey law. So you could say, I don't think this is constitutional. You can't come on my land until you get a court-ordered injunction from a judge. And Summit, for the most part, honored that if you caught them out there. The other thing is you can call your county sheriff. In a lot of counties, the sheriffs were very supportive of the landowners. And they called ahead of time and said, hey, just so you know, here's Iowa law 479B.15. They have not officially notified me per the law. And if they come on my land, I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need you to come down and kick them off my land. So many sheriffs across the state were supportive of doing that. So call your sheriff ahead of time and then make sure you call as soon as the survey company shows up. And this is Wright County. Landowners who never got notified and told them very clearly they don't have permission still showed up with all this survey equipment. They caught him, called the sheriff got him off the land. Yeah.
That is what we will do with the Sioux County too. I am the sheriff.
And for those that could not hear, I didn't expect you to, the reason that Jess stopped her presentation and the crowd. Hello, everyone. I'm Trent Loos. Welcome to another Live Across the Pond with or without my pontification partner, Andrew Henderson. I believe he's trying to get on and is in some terrible, maybe we have him now. Good afternoon, UK. No, he's there. He's driving.
I got you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. We're on. We're live on the air.
I couldn't listen. It's
Okay, you're gonna have to get somewhere where we can understand you, Andrew, because we're not getting you to come in very good on this new moon day, April. What is it? The 10th. It is April the 10th, 2024. So this morning I was doing a deep dive, so to speak, into the ethanol business. And this is largely a direct result of the meeting that I talked about yesterday in Wesley, Iowa. And I talked about the meeting yesterday. The meeting actually occurred Friday evening in Wesley, Iowa. And that meeting was yet another one in the now year-long public meeting season. It's been a public meeting season mostly about the dangers of the CO2 pipeline. I am really, really tired of the people who say that the pipelines are safe. It's just the safest mode of transportation you can have for any commodity. You know what I never thought about until this morning when I was looking things up? Do you know what fuel cannot be transported via a pipeline? I mean, it's widely recognized that ethanol cannot be transported through a pipeline. Many reasons, but largely because it has a separation factor, and any water that is displaced within ethanol causes a serious problem. But the most serious problem, and the reason I wanted to walk down this path is I believe maybe that we have Andrew now, but the division that is occurring within the agricultural sector over this CO2 pipeline. If you want to cripple any industry, and the backbone of this country is food and fuel production, and here's what you have happening. You have people in fuel and food fighting with each other. Why do we need to worry about our adversaries when we continue to fight each other? Divide and conquer.
Trent, why can't you put ethanol down a pipe?
Well, because there's a separation problem, and the data clearly says that when ethanol in a pipeline comes in contact with gasoline or water, it separates. So if that's the case, and you have an 85 E85 or you have an E15 where you have gasoline and 15% ethanol, how does that all work in your car engine if you can't put it in a pipeline? I don't understand the difference.
You are actually doing a bit here, but there you go. There you go. I mean, I think that this whole subject is open to manipulation to the result that that people who want to take money off the poor want. That's how I see this. This is a way of taking money off people, nothing more.
Yeah, and let me walk you through the history of the ethanol business. And this is, you just nailed it in one sentence, what I'm about to say in however many minutes it takes. In the 90s, we have the growth of farmer-owned ethanol plants all over this country. I mean, it was the new age. We're going to invest in an ethanol plant. The farmers built the ethanol structure. Then they went broke. Of the top 10 ethanol producing companies in the nation today, only one is still a farmer-owned co-op, so to speak. It's not a co-op. It's actually a farmer-owned LLC or C Corp. But that is Glacial Lakes in South Dakota. All of the other ethanol companies in this country, the top 10, are basically petroleum companies. So the farmers built the ethanol infrastructure. The farmers went broke for whatever reason. Then we come along in 2005 and 2007, put in place a renewable fuels standard. So we pipe tons of taxpayer dollar, pun intended, tons of taxpayer dollars into maintaining an ethanol industry. And we have these blender credits. And now everybody says, well, the blender credits are gone. Well, the ethanol industry is still 100% reliable upon a subsidy. If you don't believe that, go to a gas pump and you'll see that ethanol-free gasoline is 30, 40 cents cheaper a gallon than the non-ethanol, about said vaccine, the non-ethanol gasoline. Who's paying?
It's a very similar subject. It's a similar
It is
subject,
a similar
isn't it?
subject.
Somebody's taking a cut for something that's not economic, but it's lining the pockets of corrupt politicians, isn't it? And you know, I know you're speaking to Bobby Kennedy's son today. Is that right? That's one of the questions you want to be asking him about. Is he's going to stop all the grifting if he ever got elected?
No doubt, as I posed the question yesterday on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, I will be broadcasting live at 2:00 with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., independent candidate for president of the United States, but there's no doubt that was the overwhelming, most common question that people wanted me to ask him. How will you stop the subsidies? The subsidies are our foe.
Yes, I think, and I think that as a Democrat, and he's and his running mate is very left wing from her policies. I'd like to hear how these people can actually argue that building a huge support system is actually good for a population. Key to all this. I mean, your jobs that are being filled in the US at the moment, from what I can see, they're artificial jobs, Trent. They're being created by the government to basically spy on the people. That's what it is.
Your vision is 2020 in that regard. That's exactly what's being created for jobs.
Yeah, it's happening here. That's why I'm not that clever. It's just it's happening everywhere. And one word that oozes from this is control, isn't it? You control food, you control fuel, and you control everything, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to finish my thought on this ethanol thing because I continue to have people representing the ethanol industry, and some of those are farmers who legitimately believe their only avenue to stay in business is to get a subsidy for the CO2. And in this case, if they're paid $85 per metric ton, if they bury it. Well, at the end of the day, I still have the same question that nobody really wants to address. The reason that we are capturing CO2, the reason the ethanol plant is paid a subsidy to capture CO2 is because petroleum is causing a climate crisis. So what are we doing with the CO2 once we capture it? We're putting it in a pipeline. We're sending it to a place to enhance oil recovery.
And make it for fuel for an aeroplane. You couldn't make it up, could you, Trent? And at the end of the day, that proves that it's all lies just there, because they're actually using it to actually allow themselves to be flown all over the world in their private. It's absolutely unbelievable what we're swallowing here. I mean, it really is. I mean, I can't begin to tell you how annoying. I spoke to somebody this morning about this. The CO2 issue is, look, it's yesterday's wind and solar issue. That's what this is. It's the same issue. It's how to get money out of people. Period.
The problem is the wind and solar is not a yesterday issue. It's still a current issue. So we have the CO2 dilemma, the wind, the solar, all require one thing: our great grandchildren to pay the debt. That's what it requires.
Yep. Yeah. Let's have another $1 trillion worth of debt to pay for the lining of the pockets of the politicians that are in Westminster here in the UK and there on Capitol Hill in the United States of America. Oh, and while we're doing it, we'll kill a few of you off as well. That's another little trick that they've got up their sleeves at the moment. And then we'll hide all the excess deaths that we've got and pretend that they don't exist. Great. This is tyranny. It's not government.
So I just want to clarify what exactly I'm doing at 2:00. I'm doing a live stream with Bobby Kennedy, who's campaigning. The reason he actually called me and wanted to be on my broadcast because on Saturday this week, he is having an assembly in West Des Moines. Andrew said he was a Democrat. Well, it's no secret to anybody that the Kennedys are Democrats. He's running as an independent for the president. And so he has a live assembly, which is going to take place. And there is a minimum of 500 people that must show up and sign his card for the state of Iowa alone. And so that's why he wanted to join me on the air. But we're going to talk about some of these issues that he has the platform to be able to address. And government spending, eminent domain, those two will be at the top of the list. So that's at 2:00 Central Time today on my Rumble or my Twitter account, if you would like to be a part of that. And of course, it'll be live on demand for quite some time. We'll see if we can clean up Andrew's speech. He's talking like a drunk sailor. Has nothing to do with him or drinking. We'll be back with the second half of Live Across the Pond. Andrew Henderson, Trent Loos after this.
The government is going to bail us out from a problem that really they kind of created through their foreign policy and the economic activities that they had taken that were a mistake on the energy side and on the banking side and in the capital financing and spending side. And now they're fixing that problem, which then becomes another problem further down the road when we increase food prices on finished food products. We have to actually increase nutrition spending for the people that can't afford it. And at some point, the government has figured out how to actually get themselves involved in literally almost everybody's life in a controlling way.
Hello and welcome to the MHA Interpretive Center. It's the perfect stop along the Lewis and Clark Trail and the cultural hub of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation. Nestled along the shores of Lake Sagagawea in Newtown, North Dakota, 1 mile west of the Four Bears Casino. You can enjoy amphitheater performances, art exhibitions, and educational workshops utilizing our Living Cultural Center. Enjoy some coffee, browse our gift shop, and learn about the original people of this land. Learn more at mhanation.com/interpretive center.
Trent Loos here for my friend Greg Hager. Do you know why he has been named the Entertainer of the Year? It's because he writes his own stuff. It's because what he writes and performs and entertains will touch you in a way like very few songwriters can touch you. His country, his Christian roots come to life. Visit greghager.com for tour dates, merchandise, and book the show yourself. Use the code GREG24 for a discount. greghager.com.
Stop out to our facility, Highway 22 South. Let us build a truck for you.
Base Fluke Trailers of Dickinson is a family-owned dealer with expert staff that know their products front to back. We stock over 150 units of all types and can custom order a trailer with the unique features and capabilities you require for brands you can trust. Our experienced service team is the reason we're also the best place to have your trailer customized or repaired. Count on Base Fluke Trailers of Dickinson to keep you hauling.
Are you looking for something special or one of a kind? At Bassett Motors, we can help you find exactly what you want.
Come on in and experience how small town hospitality and personal service can make car buying a pleasure.
We know interest rates are important to you. We have multiple lenders to negotiate your lowest payment.
Visit us on Highway 281 in Carrington, North Dakota, and online at BassettMotors.com. Bassett Motors, where our customers send their friends.
Folks, when it comes to crop protection, you need equipment and technology you can count on. The Apache sprayer accomplishes all of that, but you need something else. A service counter and a group of people that'll help you when you need it. Simpson Farm Enterprises at simpsonfarm.com and High Plains Apache from Mandan. They have the service, they have the equipment. All they need is your confidence. Online, simpsonfarm.com or highplainsapache.com.
Look, so see these cows here, Trent?
Welcome back, Trent Loos alongside Andrew Henderson. Yesterday I was talking about Shropshire sheep, so he goes to Shropshire, England today. We'll get back to Andrew in a moment, see how his signal's holding up. I just want to let you know that Friday evening, I'm looking forward to this. Twyla got a hold of me last night. I am going to be the moderator for the Cherry County GOP discussion, inviting the candidates. There are 3 candidates for the county commissioners. All 3 are going to be present. And there are 6 candidates of 7 running for the Valentine School Board. So, Andrew, if you're not busy Friday evening, Valentine, Nebraska is the place to be. Heart City, USA.
Art City, Valentine City in the USA.
I'm gonna stream that too. You can be able to watch that.
You know what? I'll be interested to hear what you have to say when these candidates talk, because to me, it sounds like the Republican Party, or the GOP, as you put it, is more than one party now. It seems to me that it's at least two, possibly three parties. I don't know what your thoughts are there.
It's three. It's three.
It's three. Yeah, and I'm going to be interested to hear your thoughts on that, Trent. Back to Robert Kennedy that you're speaking to later on today. I mean, he's a conundrum because he speaks so well and eloquently on some very important topics, not least about the damage that the vaccines have done all over the world. And he backs it up with facts and data. And yet his stance on some other issues is it's the polar opposite of what I would regard as sensible. It's a very difficult he's a very difficult person to understand why he's so split down the middle on various issues. Very interesting.
No, I agree with you 100%. The thing of it is, that Bobby and I have had I'll call it a relationship for 22 years, although the first 20 years were very adversarial. He has been consistent in the vaccine world. He's been anti-vaccine from the day I met him, and he still is today.
Yeah, and particularly with the COVID rollout, and his research has been proven to be right as well. I mean, he's gone right back to Wuhan and then into Ukraine. He's explained how the Bidens, his own, let's face it, it's the Democrats that have exiled him from the party and made him run as an independent. It's not him that's left his feeling about Democrat politics. It's his party that's left him, not the other way around. Let's be honest. I mean, he's an out and out Democrat, but he's also got some very sensible ideas around public health. You've got to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So one other issue that I want to bring up, because I got a phone call last night from a friend of mine, and it doesn't matter what state he was from. I'm actually asking for anybody that knows of fraud within the crop insurance system. And this actually ties in directly with what we were talking about in the first segment, particularly as it involves subsidies, because anybody that knows and understands what the U.S. Farm Bill and the subsidies that go to farmers is really about today, the majority of that is in the crop insurance world. I am told that, like all things, there are a few who are manipulating data. There are a few manipulating the prevent plant and taking money that belongs to people who rightfully should have it. It is a subsidy that consequently it is costing all of us big money. And when a chosen few reap the rewards of all of these subsidy payments, we need to get it fixed. So I am asking you, if you know of any crop insurance fraud that is worthy of investigation, I want to hear from you. It's that simple. Do you have a crop insurance program, Andrew?
It's interesting you say that. Well, it's quite interesting. People who know all the ins and outs of the actual legislation that are able to point out to the right people the right way to apply for those grants around the legislation. They become the lobbyist, then becomes the kingmaker, doesn't he? The person with the hands on the purse string who knows what's actually been agreed in terms of how the compensation is going to be dealt out or given to people. So that's the way they can abuse their power, because they simply know how and what to apply for. And I think that's an area that everybody should look at with all these handouts from the government, because it's those people that have all the power, haven't they?
Yeah, except lobbyists don't really play into this particular role, because this money is authorized through Congress. It comes through the Farm Bill. It then goes through the USDA local office. And this is farmers who actually are manipulating the system in this case. It's not lobbyist influence. The lobbyist may
Well,
have something to do with the amount of money that comes into the USDA farm program, but
so you don't think that
two
you don't think that farmer groups are being
without a doubt, you have
exactly
farmers.
what's happening here?
Yeah, except the crop insurance subsidy is a different beast than just an outright subsidy. But in all subsidies, and I think this is the point you're making, you're picking winners and losers. And subsidies do not get spread equally to the population of people who pay it. And a subsidy comes from somebody who's paying the taxes.
Well, at present in the UK, I'm just going to give you an example. There's a 40% subsidy available for farmers to construct state-of-the-art buildings to rear calves in. Okay. The only problem is that it isn't the farmer that decides whether his application for a grant is accepted. It's actually consultants who have been made aware of how to apply for those grants that are the kingmakers. It's not the farmers in our country. Anyway, and it really is frustrating to me because a perfect person with a perfectly good case, if he's not got the right consultant working with him, won't get the grant. End of. Which is wrong. The grant's probably wrong in the first place, but there you go.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, but that's a completely different beast than our crop insurance subsidy. And see, what happens is that the farmer, we're told that we cannot operate without crop insurance subsidies because the crop insurance is so expensive. Well, it's expensive because people abuse the system. But what happens is they don't get crop insurance from the federal government. They buy crop insurance from a local crop insurance provider, and then their premium is offset by their payment from the government. And so when you have
that's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? So that means that the insurance so the insurance company, how do they determine what the real price for the insurance company is?
It's all calculated, and every farmer has a base. Here's a great story. When Kelly and I bought this place in we bought this place in 2006, I think. And when you go in and farmers go into the local USDA office and they report their acres, and then they go in and they report their yield. And so every farm has what they call a base. And your base is what you're basically determined that your average yield on corn and whatever your crops are that you maintain a base on. This place had a corn, had a base on corn, wheat, and alfalfa when we purchased it. I didn't want it. I will not go to USDA office. And I said, I don't care about this. The person from the USDA office actually came to my house and said, Trent, if you don't sign up for this, you're not going to get your money. I said, you don't understand. I don't want the money. I don't want a base. I don't want a government interference in any way, shape, or form. So when you go and you maintain your base, it is known what your yields are expected to be. And in case of a crop failure, your payment is determined by what the base on your place is. And then the premiums are determined by however they determine premiums, and the government offsets the excess premium.
It's like protection money, this, isn't it? It sounds like protection money. Yeah. It's money they give you to access your information.
Correct. 100%. That's exactly what it is. And in fact, in order to maintain your base, let's, for example, I got a neighbor that had some soybean stubble down the road from me. Cows go out and love to graze soybean stubble after you've harvested. You got stuff out there. But he wouldn't let me run cows on his soybean stubble because it was going to screw up his government payment program, because the government tells you what you can or can't put on that land if you're going to maintain all of these programs. That's complete control.
Oh, what is woeful.
And by the way, Andrew, this has not just happened in the last 5-10 years. I mean, this all goes back to, you missed a great conversation yesterday with Jay Truitt on Rural Route about CRP in 1985. And I have a friend in Nebraska who shared with me they went to South America, Bolivia, and this was in the mid 90s and early 2000s. And this guy went to some farms in Bolivia, and the farmer in Bolivia said, "Hey, thank you for your CRP program." He said, "What do you mean? Why are you thanking me for our CRP program?" And by the way, today in the United States, we have 25 million acres of conservation and reserve program. That means that we have farms that are just sitting there idle, and the farmer's getting paid so that we'll do nothing. Consequently, South America, in 1985, Brazil was not a power in the soybean world. Today, thanks to our CRP program, Brazil is our competition because we paid farmers not to farm. That must stop. For Andrew Henderson, I'm Trent Loos, live across the pond, regaining control for the farmer. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone, and we're exactly the same.
At OLS Tubs, we focus on quality ingredients to create premium, low-consumption supplements that save producers time and money. Our customers see increased profits through better conception rates, heavier winning weights, and less time and money spent on doctoring herds. OLS formulas focus on highly bioavailable trace minerals and vitamins, as well as key ingredients to improve immune response, colostrum quality, and feed conversion. Our exclusive formula propels your livestock to their full genetic potential. This is why we confidently say OLS Tubs are simply the best.
People get sick for two reasons and two reasons only. Your body's missing something that it needs, or it's exposed to something that it doesn't need. So if you supplement what the body's missing, the body fixes itself. If you remove from the body toxins that are interfering with the body's doing what it's normally designed to do, then the body heals itself. It's really that simple.
NO2U, that's nitric oxide, NO, number 2, letter U.com, and you put Trent as a coupon code, you don't pay any shipping.
In the heart of North Dakota lies a beautiful community to live, work, and play. Beulah is surrounded by nature and just minutes from Lake Sakakawea and all that it offers. The possibilities for fun and relaxation here are boundless. It's the perfect place to find a fulfilling career, epic adventures, and a welcoming community. Life here is legendary. Plan your visit today and see what you're missing.
Open Range is going to be like a digital magazine, I call it. We're going to be looking at a variety of subjects from agriculture, energy, sports, art, politics, of course, and we will be talking about a lot of subjects, having a lot of guests on, and I'm going to have a variety of co-hosts. One of them is Memo Barreto, D.L. Wetzel, Gene Grainer, Dustin Goverlau, and Daryl Lease. Welcome to Open Range, weeknights at 9 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV.